In this video, we are going to be reviewing bar charts and stacked bar charts. So the first thing that we're going to do is create a bar chart of districts. So I'm going to need the GGPLOT package. I'm just going to activate it for my library. And I'm going to call this bar GGPLOT MCAS data AES district. So this will help me create a bar chart of my district. So if I just enter bar, it should pop up. Oh, so I do need to add bar plus geom bar for anything to pop up. There we go. So that's my basic plot of my districts. I do need to format this for APA styling, so I'm going to go ahead and do bar plus geom bar plus theme. I like to use the classic theme to make a crisp APA style look, but this is my choice. You may find something that works better for you. I'm going to label my x-axis and call it district, and I'm going to label my y-axis and call it frequency. And I'll show you what this looks like so far. So now you can see I have a much crisper look. One other thing that you can do is actually, if you just want an outline of your bars instead of shaded in, again, this is just stylistic preference here. APA just requires that it's simple and clean. So black, and then I could do a fill that's white. And I just like to copy and paste this before I enter it, so that way it saves for me. Looks like I typed something wrong. Oh, you have to have the fill equals white. Okay, I'm just going to copy that. So that gives me an outline instead, if that's something that you prefer. Something that does annoy me here is there's that weird gap between the axis and the bars. So there are ways to kind of fix that. I'm going to use this function chord underscore Cartesian, and this will allow me to kind of adjust where things fall. So I'm going to say equals C0, and this is just settings that I played around with, so you can always adjust these numbers for different data sets. And I do expand equals false, and that'll help as well. So it looks like I typed something wrong, plus chord. Oh, C-A-R-T. Again, everything needs to be typed perfectly with these codings. So now you can see that kind of eliminated that buffer for me of that gap that was there. And again, these are just, you can copy and paste these settings in for another data set, but you might have to just like play around with those numbers and see what might work best for you. And then I'm just going to adjust my scale, because having 1.5, 2, 2.5 doesn't make sense when I'm just looking at 3 districts. So I'm just going to say plus scale x continuous breaks equals C 1, 2, 3, because I just want districts 1, 2, and 3. Oh. Again, when you paste things in, you need to make sure you pasted the right setting. This is the same error I got last time because I pasted the old typing version. There we go. And there we go. Now I have a nice clean bar graph. The next one we want to create is a stacked bar graph, and that is honestly a little bit more complicated in R. They don't have a great setting for it. So the first thing that you have to do is either install this package DPLYR if you haven't already, or you're going to activate it from your library. So library GGPLYR. Now, this is a function that was created, and what I do is I just copy and paste this in. So what we're doing is we're creating a stacked bar chart of district stacked by gender. So you can see I have district and gender entered in here. I have my data set right here. What I recommend doing is copying and pasting this code from the document provided, and anytime you need to make a stacked bar chart, just update some of these things. And I'll walk you through them in a second. So stacked bar. So this is what it ends up looking. So it's perfectly styled at this point. So again, we have district is our main group. So 1, 2, 3, and then within it we have gender. So if you wanted to change this for another data set, you would just enter in your data set here, enter the variables that you want in these places, and anytime you see district or gender, you would change that. So you can see here all these districts and genders. You just need to change that for the variables that you would want. Again, we have some labeling that I did here, so this would have to be updated if you're using a different variable to make sure the labels are the same. But other than that, you can pretty much just use that code and sub out your variables.